Back in Cult of the Lamb. I can't say that. I guess I should redo that.
That was bleeped out. And if you're curious what he said, too bad. Or we'll start over. Whatever you want to do.
We're going to see if we can beat the game. We'll see if I can make it through the Silk Cradle. It's the last area.
It's the last area. Is it? Or didn't we just open one early or something like that?
What was that?
Well, I think that he did beat. Like, I think now officially, because we talked about it before and we thought he beat it before, but he didn't. The third area that...
But, I mean, come on. You're going to have to fight the big... The your god. Like,
these spider things are kind of tough. It would make sense, considering it's the last area.
Yeah.
It's not the last.
You're going to have to fight your own followers, probably.
Where are my godly weapons?
I don't know.
Some godly weapons.
They're just not here. Your god has abandoned you.
That's what's going to happen, is you're going to end up having to fight your followers and then your god.
Oh, that's actually really sad. Like, fighting your god, we already kind of expected
Tony the
but...
Pony's already dead, so the best followers already died of old age. Twice, I think, at this point. So...
we don't even know anymore.
Just, our hearts are calloused over from that. Like, the Centipede dude's just, like, living his life. Like, everything else is here actively attacking you. I don't think that Centipede was a bad guy.
His bad guy had to progress.
It's just a dude out for a jog.
Minding his own business.
Like, he was just walking in circles. Like,
do you think
he's probably trying to lose some weight and just get his life back together?
He had a messy divorce, and now he's just trying to get in shape, fix his life, be able to see his kids again. Do you think a centipede would be a fast runner or a slow runner?
Do more feet.
How many legs?
Generally, four-legged animals run faster than two-legged animals, so I'm going to say that stacks. Centipedes, full-size centipede would run 100 times faster than me.
Faster than a cheetah? Or about equal?
Faster. Because a cheetah can only run like 5 times faster than me.
5 times faster than you? Now, are you boasting your running capabilities, or
just...
just...
no, I'm terrible at running.
So cheetahs be slow. They're fast, but they're only 5 times faster than Loki. So, not as fast as they could be.
We're talking about multipliers here, right? 5 times faster than me when a cheetah runs 60 miles an hour is, do the math.
Well, yeah, you can run 12 miles an hour.
Yes.
Okay.
Right. Fast as... How fast can a person run? Is that fast? I don't know if that's fast or slow.
I don't know.
And what happens if we convert it to metric?
It's fast-ish. Like this. Oh, I do get a red heart?
Well, fastest person in the world can run 40 miles per hour.
For how long?
40 miles per hour?
You
Well,
ask how long, but I don't know how long.
No, so I don't know where you're getting your news from. New York Times says the fastest that anyone has run is about 27.5 miles per hour. By Usain Bolt.
Well, so 40 miles per hour, the fastest speed humans can run. Currently, the fastest human in the world is, what is it, Usain Bolt. Usain Bolt, who can run nearly 28 miles per hour.
Yes, sir. In general, the average human jogging speed is 4 to 6 miles per hour.
How do I not use curses? Is that my special? I think that's my special.
That's...
I usually don't use
probably
it
your special.
The average man between the ages of 20 and 40, which I am still within that age range, it's 5.9. So, cheetah can probably run...
They didn't like that.
12
times faster than
12 times faster than you?
What is this place?
I have no idea.
Food for your soul, your undying
Oh wait, you
soul.
already got your beats.
Is this a birthday party? Are those his children?
know what was going on there. I was looking up how fast
I was too,
so
and
there were wiggles and snails and beats.
So let's just say that because Loki says he can run 12 miles per hour, he's pretty fast. He'll outrun a mugger.
5 minute line.
A 5 minute lap.
I want to say the fastest I ran a mile was around 7 minutes, so I'm not quite that fast.
Can you still run that though?
Oh no, I ran a 7 minute mile 20 years ago.
I don't think I ever ran a 7 minute mile. I never cared enough to try and push myself to that limit.
It's funny because like gym in junior high, I didn't care about things, and so like I was like, I'm not gonna run. And I would. It is also weird because we had a track, but it instead of like, oh, run 4 times around the track for a mile, they were like, it doesn't quite add up to that. So run around the entire field of the school in this weird shape like 2.5 times. I'm like, how's that any bet? What?
Right.
And I was just like, all right, I'm gonna walk. And so like, I think we had to do it in like 15 minutes or something like that. And so I had like a 15-minute mile in junior high, so everybody thought I was slow and lazy in that. And then I got to high school and just ran like normal, and
yeah,
I beat a lot of people, and they're like, I didn't realize you could run. Like
there's
lots of surprises with Loki.
I'm a man full of surprises. There's a teacher that I had in junior high that if you missed a mile, because you ran miles every Friday, and if for whatever reason, whether it was like bad weather, teacher was out, something, if you missed a mile, you had to make it up the following Monday. And it's terrible. Like, I don't know why people think, oh, I'm going to force these children to run miles for exercise or, whatever. Because it's not enjoyable. I don't think people enjoy running miles unless, of course, it's your sport, like for track and field and things like that. Okay, power to you. But
I think there's a lot of people who enjoy running.
Yeah, I know that a lot of people enjoy running, but I'm just saying, like, for a PE class, forcing people to run miles and then saying, like, you have to get it under a specific amount of time or you get docked points or whatever. It's like, thanks for making this all about, I guess, how fit you are, because, you're not...
At least they were, getting you to actually do physical activity. The gym teachers at my junior high were terrible people. One of them, I didn't have this guy as a teacher, but my friend's older brother did years and years and years before, and actually broke my friend's brother's arm.
Doing what?
He was on a ladder. My friend's brother was on a ladder, like doing something with the net, on the basketball net. And this guy came and pulled the ladder out from underneath him. And as he fell off the ladder, his arm got like tangled in the basketball ring and broke his arm. Yeah. The teacher that I did have, because we had co-ed gym, we were progressive back in the day. Back in the times we had co-ed PE.
Oh, I think you still have co-ed PE.
That's what I said. Yeah. You do now. Back then, it was a new thing.
Oh, okay.
It had probably been around for a while. Anyway.
Okay.
Joke didn't land.
No,
so
yeah,
we were. Yeah. Anyway, we were playing baseball, and one kid let the bat go, swung, and just let it go, and it went flying towards the teacher, who ducked out of the way. And as she was yelling at him for doing that, for some reason she came out and said that there was a rumor in the past that she was gay.
Okay.
And we were all like, this is weird. How did we go from don't let go of the bat because you're going to hurt somebody to that? Yeah. That was weird. So we talked about that. everybody in the class talked about that outside of that class.
Okay.
But because of that, she blamed all of the boys in the class for spreading a rumor that she was gay and failed all of them until they apologized to her personally.
Can't you take that up with the principal and say,
I told her I'm not going to apologize for something I didn't say. And she gave me a passing grade by the end of the semester.
well, that's good, considering...
Yeah. But we're all standing there going like, what is going on? Like, it's not like we all went around and said, ha ha ha, she's
right.
gay. It's not at all what happened. We were all like, this was a really weird thing that happened. Instead of being mad because this kid almost hit her with a bat accidentally. I mean, he claimed it was an accident. I don't think it was an accident, but just like, what in the world is going on?
Yeah, that's weird.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I mean, I think I should say this. It's not that I'm upset that a teacher's like trying to get you to play, like force you into exercise, but I'm someone who like. No, I know it is, but like I would rather play sports, which I thought most PE classes should be, is they, teach you. Geez, it's been so long since it's been junior high, but when I was in high school, they had like specific classes that were designated for like sports learning, like how do you play soccer, how do you play tennis, how do you learn the rules of these games.
PE is just physical education. It's just teaching you how to be healthy and exercise.
Really just a familiarization.
Like it's,
sports.
And then you get into the more specific ones as you go, like weight training or those kinds of things. Which, speaking of, I got in school, I don't know if that's, I guess that's an offensive term, so we'll bleep that out. But I got screwed over in school by just the way that the like programs would change, like as I got into them. So it's like, oh, instead of doing this cool thing, I didn't get to do the cool thing, whatever it was. But the way that
Tentacles!
My high school was broken out.
We have tentacles.
Tentacles. I do have tentacles. He's even got balls. Anyway, the way that the school counselors were broken out just alphabetically, they just each took a chunk of the alphabet. My name fell to the end of the list on my counselor's, the block that my counselor got. Like, dead last. Like, the last two letters of my name were the last two in the sequence of those kinds of things. And there was a PE class called, like, Life Sciences or something like that. And they got to play sports that weren't the traditional ones. So, like, they went bowling, they learned pool. They did a lot of those kind of fun things. And it's the class I really wanted to take. And it was for seniors only. But usually what happened is the classes didn't get filled up. They would open it up to other students. But they didn't go through, let's find out if all of the seniors want to take this class. It was just like the closer it got to enrollment. So I never got into that because I was the last person that my counselor ever saw. So the class was already full. And it was full of like sophomores and freshmen. So my senior year, I took like freshman PE because it was the only PE class that was available. I think it was that and weight training, but it was like I took that and weight. I took both. But it was just like, I'm standing there in freshman PE class, looking at other freshmen in the class that I should be in because my last name wasn't higher on the list. I was pissed.
I mean, you talk about that. I can't remember what the class was called, but there was a class in my high school where you learned the mechanics of sports, and it was the classic sports you have today, which basketball, soccer, things like that, rules, whatever. But there was, I think I took it every single year that I was in high school, but there was one year, I don't know how it happened. I don't know what the, I guess, parameters for how we got it to happen. But there was one term that I had taken it where we got like a professional handball team to come in and teach us the rules of handball. And it was a game that none of us had heard of, but it's like an Olympic sport, I think. And so it was a fascinating thing to learn because you're so used to the general sports, but now you're getting to play this unknown sport to us at the time. And so it was kind of nice.
Really? This isn't the mushroom guy, is it?
No. They're new.
The snake guy?
Snake guy, but the snake guy's named Shroomy?
Seems like Knucklebones.
But it's a new Knucklebones player.
There are a lot of people in the Lonely Shack.
Right. They all wanting to play Knucklebones.
Lonely Shack.
This Lonely Shack's a rockin'. Don't come and knock.
But along those same lines, though, my senior year, it became frustrating because at the time I didn't think I was going to go to college. I was like, I'm not going to college. I don't need to go to college. I don't need to do college stuff. And so I wasn't taking any of like the AP classes. I wasn't taking anything beyond what was mandatory. But I thought when I reached my senior year, I would have a lot of home release that I could take, because if you already have all your credits, they would let you do home release. Well, by the time I reached my senior year, they only allowed one home release per semester. And I brought it up to my counselor and I said, okay, well, why is this the case? You know, I have straight A's, I have all my credits that I need to graduate. Why can't I have more home release? And his response was, well, because there's a lot of students that are failing their classes or they're just taking home release and not getting all. Yeah, everyone gets punished.
Yeah.
And I was so mad because I thought, that's unfair. Up until this point, up until my senior year, they had allowed all this home release for all the people before. But now that I reached a senior year, I had all my credits, I had my grades.
Black cube? Is that your cube?
It was lost. And so I was only allowed one home release. And so I had to take a lot of...
I wasn't allowed.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
I still went home.
Right.
Like my senior year, I think I made up a term of math. I made up a term of English, which the English one is a really BS story. Anyway. But I made up each of those. I only went like half day for I could have gone like full day for half the year or half day for most of the year. And then I just skipped half the classes. I mean, so
I could have done it that way.
Whoa!
I didn't do it that. Ooh, Shamura. Have you thought of what awaits?
Yeah, the lamb. See, that's the lamb.
Then I can at least prepare you for the suffering to come. He was the fifth, the bishop of Old Faith, our brother, the one who waits. Back then, he was known by the name Narinder.
And the one who waits.
13 nachos.
13 nachos.
And he took your recent one too, your Tentacles. So now you have to kill Tentacles. You just barely got him.
No.
But
told you you'd have to fight your followers. At least it's not Tony the Pony. Tony the Pony, rest in peace.
But no, my senior year there was a lot that happened at my high school during my senior year that it just became frustrating.
You know, my junior year, I had my wisdom teeth pulled, had a bad reaction to the pain medication, ended up losing consciousness twice, and ended up in the hospital.
Wow.
And while I was out for that, my English teacher gave out the final assignment for the year. And so when I got back, I asked what I missed, and she's like, oh, just meet up with this kid. He'll give you the info on that final project. It's nothing, it's not a huge thing.
Right.
I was like, cool. So I asked him, he's like, oh yeah, we're just taking all of the papers that we've written throughout the year, and we're just bringing them in, and then we're going to bind them like a book. I'm like, oh, that's easy. So I brought in all my papers at the end of the year for that project. And I failed because of it, because I was supposed to write like chapter headings and summaries and have a cover page and all of these. There were all of these requirements for it that I didn't know about.
Right.
Because the teacher didn't give me the assignment. when I asked about it, she said, go just talk to this random kid. And bringing it up, she's like, too bad. I'm like, okay, great. I guess I'll take your class again next year. Only one of the terms I've already taken, and I'll just turn in all the same assignments again. And there we go.
Yeah, I think I would have a little bit more pushback against that teacher if she's like, yeah, go talk to the student. I'd be like, no. That's not how this
I never officially got the assignment.
It didn't matter. I fought and lost.
I had a similar experience. So I took like a video production class and an electronics class from the same teacher. And so he's like, and so I took electronics for like 3 years. And so, but I'd get additional concurrent enrollment each year. So the actual class, like, I knew. And so he's like, okay, so I know you know all this stuff. So how about you make a video to teach her that, like, he could use to show to students on how to use the lab equipment. And that will be your grade for, like, a quarter. I'm like, cool. Yeah. And so I took that as that's all I needed to do. And I did that, and I turned it in, and he's like, well, you haven't been coming to class. I'm like, yeah, because this is what I need to do. I came to class when I needed to work on this. He's like, well, that's not good enough. So he gave me an incomplete. I'm like, great. So I did everything you wanted me to do, and that wasn't good enough. Okay, great.
What I love is the fact that, hey, do this work for me so that I don't have to be teaching the students.
Produce some products for me so I don't have to.
Yeah. And when you do that, I'll give you an incomplete because you haven't been, I haven't seen you in person every single day.
I didn't show up and sit in a seat to learn. Nothing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sounds like public schools. So it's funny, it was my electronics class. My senior year, junior year, I can't remember what it was. But I think it was senior year. I would always just ditch, and like I'd show up, I'd get on the roll, I'd leave. Like I'd be like, hey, I need to go to the bathroom, and I'd leave and go home. And like eat breakfast, because I think I was done for the day after that. And sometimes I think I didn't know I had a class after, because I'd always have to come back. So there was one day that I was eating breakfast and like I spilled something on my shirt, so I changed my shirt really quick and then I went back to class. And he looked at me really suspiciously that day for the first time in like 2 months of doing this.
Yeah.
And then like the next day when I showed up and I asked if I could use the hall pass, he was like, no, you can't use the hall pass anymore. And I was like, okay, great. And I just walked out and never went back.
Right.
Just like, all right, I'm out.
So,
I did that a lot with a lot of classes where I was just like, I'm done. I'm like this. I'm getting nothing for this. So I had a college writing class in high school that I didn't get college credit for because of that English term that I failed, because it brought my average down too low to where the district would do it. So
hold on. Do a sacrifice nugget and sacrifice one of your old people.
Keep them. I mean, they're just old, right?
Well, I mean, they'll die, and then you'll get followers.
They'll just die, and then your follower will freak out. Just some people to clean up. So.
But you can also resurrect back followers, probably the ones that you just killed.
Tony the Pony can come back
if you desire it. But okay, look, continue with your story. I just wanted to voice that to Nugget, just because he had a lot.
Forgot where I was at and what I was doing.
You were talking about ditching a class. You were talking about ditching classes.
Yeah, I don't know. I ditched a lot of classes.
In my... What was it?
Oh, I remember where I was. Sorry,
okay.
It was the college one. So I wasn't getting college credit for it, for this writing class. I wasn't even getting English credit for it. I was getting just a general elective credit, and I was already like 2 credits over what I needed to graduate. So I was like, you guys told me that I'd be getting like college credit for this and wouldn't have to take, like 101 classes when I, went to college.
You mean it didn't?
But now I'm not like, because I didn't have like a C plus average or something like that because of that F, or it was a B average, I think is what it was, because of that F that I got for not being given the assignment. So I wasn't getting that, and because I didn't need the English credit, it wasn't an English credit. It was just counting as a general elective for me. And I was like, I don't need extra electives above what I've already got. I've already got extras above that. So,
and it didn't transfer into college credits at all?
No, it didn't transfer into college credits at all because of that B average. I didn't have a B average. So
wow.
I was like, all right, I'm out. Because I did pass a multimedia class in high school with a 40, it was like a 48% A, because I just didn't go to class, but then I passed the state test at the end of the year, which put more money into the program. So the teacher said, anybody who passes this gets an A. And so didn't show up to class, I think, at all, and showed up for the test, passed it with an A. I think I scored the highest out of the school on that too.
Yeah. My junior year, there was a chemistry class that, yeah, I'll admit that I don't know chemistry, and I think it's actually more my sophomore year, not my junior year. But the teacher would teach a lesson, and it was probably 20 minutes, which means that the assignment that he would give would take maybe 10 minutes to do. And so that left about an hour left in the class for us to just sit there and do nothing. So sometimes me and my friends, we would slip out of the class and to second lunch, because that was right around where we had first lunch and then second lunch came right after. So we would wait until second lunch, the bells would ring for that we would then ditch out for second lunch. Because the class was basically so short, and we're spending the rest of the time just sitting there because of how the teacher had their lessons. I remember before I went to college, I got advice that I should try and learn behind the scenes of basically video production or sound or, anything along those lines. And I think every single company that I tried to talk to, they wouldn't even give an internship. They're like, no, you need a college degree before we even consider you. And even
that
then,
seems backwards.
I mean, because that is the exact opposite experience that I had. Because mine was, hey, I'll come out and work for free, and they're like, okay, great. We need somebody to move gear around.
No, it was literally that, where I could not get even a foot in the door to do any type of learning or experience or anything, because they wanted me to have some type of degree or proof of experience in that field, which was basically the degree that they were wanting. So no, I couldn't. It was one of the reasons why I went to college, is because anyone I tried to talk to get a foot in the door was that they wanted a proof of experience.
Yeah, I mean, and to be fair, I just hauled gear around for free on a handful of jobs, and eventually it was PA, couple $100. I think it was $150 a day for shoots and stuff, just helping haul gear around, or help running B camera or assisting the B camera on shoots and stuff. And then eventually it hit a point where it just grew from there. But then I hit a point where it's like I was becoming competition for those guys, so then they stopped giving me jobs. It's like, well, yeah, that's not how freelance works. They're like, sorry, kid. All right, fine.
Yeah, I mean, they get to dictate it.
It's it's how you grow out of it. I mean, and to be fair, like there were some projects that we partnered on some things. We were making a spec reality show. Really funny story of what we're doing it. So we were partnered on it, and it was like outdoor mountaineering exploration stuff. And so we were canyoneering, and we hired this kid to help out. And it's a really easy slot canyon. You'd hike up to one side. It was like a half an hour in the canyon. If you were really doing it, we were in there for like 2 or 3 hours because we were filming. And then you came out to this nice little area. So this kid wasn't going through the canyon with us. And our expectation was, well, once we get into the canyon, he would move all of our gear to the bottom where we're going to come out. And then we'd have lunch. And we had to have like a park ranger there to make sure we weren't doing anything wrong. But the park ranger wasn't going through the canyon with us either. So they just sat at the top of the canyon while we went through it. We came out at the end and we're like, where are they? And then had to hike back around. Apparently this kid took a nap. And then we pulled all the gear down, and like I went back and got like I was like pulling extra stuff down. And we set up lunch. We were eating lunch, and this kid was talking to the, I guess, contestants that we had, the guests. They were just regular people. And he was like, yep, great old story I heard from an old gaffer. You only work as hard as the day rate pays. I'm like, we're paying you, and you took a nap.
Yeah.
And you're saying this around me, and I was like, I don't, like, do you understand that I'm the one paying you? Like, I'm producing this show.
Yeah.
And so that's what I just said, I'm like, I'm never going to work with that kid again. And he came in recommendation from one of the partners that I was with, and he was like, yeah, sorry about that. Like, it's coming out of you. I mean, you're the one paying. I'm not me, necessarily. Like, you wanted to have this kid around, you know, he was the new me kind of a thing. It's like, yeah, even if he was free, he's not worth the price.
Yeah.
It was also like we had to pay for the ranger, and the ranger just sat there and doing nothing. Or like, you're supposed to make sure that we were being like environmentally sound. And he's like, you guys are fine in the canyon. Like, you're not going to be doing any more damage than normal people going through there. And I'm like, yeah, we still paid you, and you just sat there, and then we gave you food.
It matters.
So, yeah. It's like, how do I get that job? So we didn't necessarily pay him. We paid the park service.
Yeah.
I'm sure he didn't see any of that money. You know, there was, I mean, to be fair, I worked when I was in high school, worked at a movie theater, and you know, people who wanted to work were always trying to get extra shifts as much as they possibly could. And there was a kid who worked there because he wanted to go to free movies, and so he would give away every shift that he could. I think he worked twice the entire time I worked there. But it's like, you're great because you give me extra work. Like, you know, they don't pay you if you're not there working, and you're giving away all your shifts. So it's great for me because I need the money. One of those times that I ever worked with this kid, he was complaining because his parents took his truck away. I was like, oh, that's weird that they took your truck away. Mm-hmm. And so I just asked him, I was like, so if it's yours, like it's in your name, right? They can't necessarily do that. Because, I mean, we weren't, I don't know. I think I might have been 18 at the time. Maybe just barely. Probably not, actually. But it's like, I don't know. Legally, it's like, if it's in your name, because like my car was in my name. Because I bought it. So it's like, I don't know how a parent, anyway. But I asked him, I was like, so he's like, oh no, it's my dad paid for it, so it's still like the title's in his name. I'm like, okay, so but you like put gas in it, right? And he's like, no, my dad pays for the gas. He's like, okay, but like you pay the insurance and those kinds of things? He's like, no. I'm like, so why did they take it away? And he's like, oh, well, I took it over to a couple of towns over to meet with some friends, and then I drove with them to another place, and then they drove me home, and I just left the truck like 2 towns over. And it's like, so it sounds to me like you drove your dad's truck and left it over, you know, like 40 miles away. Like,
basically.
I've been recommended a lot of clips from the movie Sully with
Tom Hanks. Okay.
And like, I remember the event. Like, it's an event that happened in my lifetime when, you know, he landed the plane on the Hudson. And my thoughts is, how does this end up being a dramatic movie? Because he successfully landed the plane in the Hudson, and there were no injuries, there were no, like, it wasn't a tragedy, it was, but they seem to try to make it into like he didn't do his job right. I was like, I don't remember that being the case. I remember him being a hero from the get-go. And
I don't know why. Yeah.
I think the one with Denzel Washington where he flips upside down and was drunk.
Well, that's why I was confused, because Denzel Washington's movie is called Flight, but I thought that he was drunk in that movie too. Like, the pilot was drunk in that one.
No. He was like...
In Sully?
In Sully, no. Sully was like, he was like a hero. Like, it was... I mean, Denzel Washington may have been drunk while he was watching that movie. I don't know.
No, because
Denzel Washington's not. They're similar movies, but one of them's Flight is a fictitious story, from what I remember. It's not based on a true story. I don't think. I could be wrong.
Let's backtrack to what I was thinking.
Sully. Yeah. Anyway, backtrack to what you're thinking.
Because you mentioned Sully, and you said, "How is this, a dramatic movie?" And you mentioned something about how they try to make him seem like he was incompetent because he was like drinking on the job or something.
Yeah, and they don't make it seem like he's drinking on the job. Like the movie goes through an inquiry where they try to say that he didn't do the best thing possible.
And he's got to defend himself. Like he should have tried to land at an airport because he made a split-second decision.
And he landed in the Hudson and stuff.
Yeah, everyone was armchair quarterbacking his decision ultimately.
Yeah, and that's what the movie is. But what I remember from real life was this guy made the right decision. Everybody agreed with it. He was a hero. He was hailed as a hero. And I was like, it seems like, I don't know, it just seems weird that you made a whole movie out of that. So.
Right. Well, and the reason why I brought up Flight is because I thought that also in Flight that the pilot was made out to be drunk. That's why I was...
Yeah, in Flight, he was.
Yeah. So that's why
he was drinking, but he still made the right call and saved a bunch of people's lives, but he was also an alcoholic.
Yeah. That's why I was just like, these two movies sound so similar, but am I thinking of the right one? So that was just where my mind was going. That's why it got confusing there a bit.
But yeah, it's funny, people talk about that phenomenon of similar movies in Hollywood where they're they're just all making the same thing. Armageddon and Deep Impact, right? Movies about an asteroid hitting Earth that came out around the same time. It's of course it is, because somebody's out there trying to sell a script, and one of the studios is instead of buying this script, let's just write our own.
Yeah.
It's not a phenomenon that's weird. It's just theft. That's all it is. Time for some faith from George Michael.
Because you gotta have faith.
From George Michael, not from Limp Bizkit. Let's be clear about that.
What if people want to have faith from Limp Bizkit?
And you can have your faith in another place. You have your denomination, I have mine. And to be fair, my denomination's not George Michael, it's more David Bowie, as has been discussed many, many times.
You never got your David Bowie pics.
Still haven't. Nobody sent me David Bowie pics.
Yeah. It's kind of depressing.
To be fair, can you leave pictures as comments, though? I don't think you can. Maybe that's why.
No, but we talked about sending it to, I believe, our Instagram or something, direct message. Oh, yeah. I can't remember exactly what it was.
Check us out on Instagram. Send me, even just comment and tag us in photos on Instagram of David Bowie.
Yeah. Because I can't remember if it was Instagram or Facebook or something that you wanted people. It's been a bit since those episodes.
It'd probably be Instagram, because let's be honest, I know we have a Facebook page, but do we really have a Facebook page?
Does anyone really have a Facebook page?
It's a thing that might technically exist so that nobody else can take it. Claim it and pretend to be us.
Yeah.
And it does actually regularly get posts from an automation of links to our YouTube videos. We'll end on the David Bowie and our Instagram, which might seem like a convenient way of pointing out that we are on other social media platforms and you can check us out there. But it's really more just a way to actually get pictures of David Bowie.
It's
too
Nuggets
lazy to look
teachers
them up myself.
I was gonna say it's Nuggets teachers' approach to make you do the work, so we reap the benefits of your work.
It's our capitalist exploitation of you because somehow we're making money off of the David Bowie
pictures.
Trust me, it makes sense. Don't question it. I'm a guru. Listen to what I say. Trust me, you can make money with David Bowie pictures on the internet. Just buy my book and I'll teach you how. Anyway, adios, friends.
See ya.